Best bites forever.
Hi everyone, I'm Chef Alicia and today I'm going to show you how to make lasagna in your crock pot. And I actually decided to do this recipe because it was 114 degrees yesterday and it's supposed to be 114 again today. So obviously it's very, very hot outside and I don't want to turn my oven on, but I am craving lasagna. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to make my lasagna in the crock pot and see what happens. And guess what? It came out fabulous. So I hope you all enjoy it too.
I'm starting off here with a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm going to add a cup and a half of diced onion to that, along with a teaspoon of dried rosemary. If you're using fresh rosemary, go ahead and double that to 2 teaspoons. I'm also going to add a little bit of kosher salt along with some freshly ground black pepper. I know that I've mentioned this in other videos, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows you should be adding your salt and pepper a little bit at a time as you work through a recipe. So I will probably put 2.5 teaspoons, maybe even 3 in this recipe because it's a pretty large recipe, and also I have no ability to salt my noodles because it's going to be happening in a crock pot, so I maybe will go just a little bit more on the salt this time. I've added in 2 pounds of ground beef and again just a little bit of kosher salt and some freshly ground black pepper. I probably added about a teaspoon of the kosher salt on top of the meat. Again, about 2.5 teaspoons altogether are going into this recipe. I'm going to brown the meat up really nicely, and then I'm going to add in a can of diced tomatoes along with a can of tomato sauce, and I will give measurements for everything in the description down below, so make sure you go down there and check it out. I'm also adding in 15 ounces of water. I just used my can to measure that, and then I'm going to give this a nice stir until I have it really well combined. Then I'm going to add in 5 more ounces of water. That's just because it's going into the crock pot and I wanted to have just a little bit of extra liquid in it. Again, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and I'm going to give that a nice stir. And then I'm going to add in a bay leaf along with a tablespoon of garlic powder. Normally I use fresh garlic in my lasagna, but I happen to be out. Take a picture because that never ever happens. It's kind of a staple in the house, but you can use 4 or 5 cloves of garlic if you're using fresh. Put them in with the onions. Moving right along, I've added in 2 cans of tomato paste, and I'm just going to stir those in really well, along with a tablespoon of dried oregano. If you are using fresh oregano, go ahead and triple that to 3 tablespoons. I'm going to stir this in really nicely, and my sauce is pretty much ready to start layering into a lasagna, with the exception of the fact that of course you want to remove that bay leaf because you don't want anybody to get that in their piece of lasagna. I did let this sauce simmer for about 3 minutes. Here in my crock pot, I've started my bottom layer off with sauce, and now I'm adding in some of those noodles that are no-boil noodles. This is my first time that I'm making lasagna in my crock pot, so for the first time I used these noodles, but every time after I've just used the regular noodles without cooking them first, and I have found that it has come out much better that way. So here you can see I've also switched to the casserole type of crock pot, which I definitely liked better, but we're going to go back to my first one here because that's what I was showing you. Anyway, I got my layer of noodles down. Again, these are the no boil ones, but I do like the other kind better. I did a layer of sauce on top, and now I'm adding in a layer of the ricotta cheese. When I do my ricotta, I basically just use my hand and put down little pieces of it all around. So the next thing that goes down is some nice shredded mozzarella, and after that some Parmesan cheese. Yes, I'm using the kind out of the can because crock-pot recipes are supposed to be easy and time-saving, and I don't mind it. Anyway, the next layer is going to be noodles, followed by again some sauce, some ricotta cheese, and then the mozzarella, and then some Parmesan. Basically, I'm just going to keep layering in this same order. So I have the noodles, again followed by the sauce, followed by the ricotta cheese, some mozzarella cheese, and that is going to be about the end of my mozzarella, some Parmesan, and this will be my last layer. For the last layer, I'm just going to put my noodles followed by some sauce, and then I want to wipe around the edges just because I don't want anything burning around the edges while my lasagna is cooking. I put my lid on, and 5 hours later, ta-da! This is what I have, is my very beautiful lasagna. This is what it looked like when it was cooked, and this is what it looks like when I cut into it, and of course when I plate it up.
Hi again, thank you so much for watching my video. Please give it a like and a thumbs up and share it with all of your friends because sharing is caring. And if you're not already a subscriber, be sure to go ahead and subscribe now. Thank you so much for watching and happy cooking, everyone.
bestbitesforever.com